Selling plus 18 content has ruined my life. Hi, I want to share my experience in the plus 18 content industry. I'm originally from Argentina, and 3 years ago I decided to try selling my photos and videos online. First, it was interesting. The money came easily, and I felt my self-esteem grow with each new subscriber. I was starting to feel more desirable, even if it was a superficial perception. Everything in life seemed to get easier, and my income began to grow faster than I could have expected. At that point, my main job was no longer bringing in as much income as it used to, and I began to feel that my health and life needed a change. I quit my old job and immersed myself in content sales completely. My income became 2 to 3 times what I was earning before, and most importantly, I could do it all from the comfort of my own home. It felt like a real breakthrough. I worked in a comfortable environment, didn't have to meet with coworkers, and didn't waste time traveling. Everything was perfect. But as is often the case, the illusion of paradise began to fade. As time went on, I began to feel eaten up by the world. I was used to people buying my photos and videos, but their motivation was starting to annoy me. They aren't buying because they like my creativity or art, but because they want something from me. I began to see every interaction as a transaction rather than a communication. This feeling slowly began to eat away at my soul. I was no longer happy to socialize with people outside of work, with those who had nothing to do with my work. I did not want to see anyone, to talk to anyone. My whole life became reduced to watching screens, chatting in chat rooms, and waiting for the next user to buy content. I started avoiding normal human contact, as every conversation with a person seemed empty to me, and every person seemed like a potential customer, even if their intentions were far from that. My perception of men and their intentions changed dramatically. With each passing year, I began to see more and more of the hidden purpose behind their words, and my intuition became sharper and sharper. After a while, I could already understand in a few phrases what they really wanted from me. I used to share my pictures and videos enthusiastically when I first started, but over time it became clear that for most of them it was just a purchase, not a recognition of my value as a person. They were paying for a sexy image, and I was used to getting paid for it. Sharing intimate moments for free became something I could no longer afford. Every new request for a candid photo shoot without payment was taken as an offense. At some point it became obvious to me. If I continued to interact with people in this format, it was only going to be a dead end. Even casual encounters with men, those who were only viewers of my content, were starting to make me uneasy. Deep down, I felt like I was wasting my time and energy, and they didn't value me as a person, but only as an object for their fantasies. And then came the realization: if someone is buying my content regularly, then they must understand the value of what I do, and next time I will charge for intimate encounters. That moment was the turning point. I decided that I would no longer waste my time on idle conversation or dating without mutual commitment. It all became part of my new world. I made a choice. If people wanted more than content, they should pay. I started accepting payment for intimate video chats, for private meetings where I could be myself and not just a product. However, it wasn't that simple. This industry, like any other, has its cycles. High seasons and low seasons. There were days when sales were down, and then I had to work even harder to keep the income flowing. I still spent endless hours on Telegram answering inquiries and promoting my work. I had to work almost around the clock, sometimes sleeping only 4 to 5 hours a night if I could. Eventually, this constant stream of work and pressure began to wear me out, and the more I earned, the less happy I felt about what I was doing. As time went on, I began to encounter more and more comments that were not only about my content, but also about my body. Initially, it seemed only something superficial, part of the game. But gradually, each new comment, each complimentary word about my appearance became more and more obsessive for me. I began to look after my body not for myself, but for others, which gradually turned into a painful dependence on other people's opinions. When I noticed that it was starting to directly affect my health, I couldn't stop. I started eating only once a day, ignoring my hunger and my body because it seemed unimportant compared to the external success I was building through my photos and videos. All of these efforts, weight loss, workouts, perfect poses, were only focused on pleasing others, not myself. My body began to collapse, and it didn't take long for the consequences to set in. Eating problems, hormonal breakdowns, and fatigue all became a chain reaction. I left my previous job because I could no longer do it properly. I was physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted. But I had another job, selling content, where money came in easier than ever. However, as time went on, it became clear that the income started to dwindle. This industry, where money is so quick and short-term, became unbearably unstable over time. And no matter how hard I tried, the situation in my country made it impossible to maintain even the standard of living I used to have. The money I was earning was rapidly losing its value. But much more devastating was that I began to feel my humanity fading away. I became increasingly cold, withdrawn, and began to see only hidden agendas in people. I no longer believed in sincerity, neither in friendship nor in love. Even when someone was sincerely interested in me, it seemed to me that he wanted something from me or was using me for his own purposes. I no longer saw a person, but just another need to be satisfied. And strangely enough, relationships with women became just as difficult. Previously normal conversations about life and concerns became unpredictable. Many of the girls I socialized with showed envy or hidden competition. They felt that I was better, that I was doing more, that I was earning more, and the whole dynamic began to hurt. When I looked at women, especially those who worked in the same industry as me, I began to see nothing but hostility and ulterior motives. It all became a vicious cycle of mistrust and loneliness. I began to distance myself from everyone. All my relationships were soaked in cynicism, and every look, every word seemed like another attempt at manipulation. Now I realized how easy it is to lose oneself in this world where everything depends on external evaluations, and how hard it is to return to a normal life filled with sincerity and real emotions. Every time I start talking to girls, whether it's a friendly conversation or something more personal, I get a strange feeling. It's like there's something hidden behind every word. Falsity, competition, jealousy, or even something deeper and darker. And I can't escape the feeling that they are evaluating me or want something from me. I used to see these views through the lens of my experiences with other content marketers I crossed paths with in my industry. It was a constant spectacle of everyone trying to demonstrate that they were better, that their content was more effective, and their ways of working were smarter. And no matter how hard I tried not to see it, it always seemed to me that every meeting with peers or industry colleagues carried an element of competition, where everyone saw you not as a person but as a threat or an object of comparison. Content Plus 18 has become not just a source of income for me, but one huge trap for my soul. This world where you sell not only your body but also your personality, where it all comes down to who sold the most, who made the coolest video, and who got the most subscribers. It's a world full of cynicism, manipulation, and mistrust. There are no real friends here, everyone is a competitor, even if they smile to your face. I've seen the same people I once worked shoulder to shoulder with start to play these games, pulling me down every chance they get, turning away if my videos get more attention, and trying in every way possible to make me look bad in the eyes of others. When you're faced with these games every day, there's no room for real relationships. The habit of being constantly on guard, the feeling that everyone is evaluating and weighing you, breaks any attempts to build normal human connections. This is what I call loneliness. You can't trust, you can't allow yourself to be vulnerable because at any second someone could use your kindness or trust for their own purposes. Even if you think it's okay, there's always this feeling that someone wants to get something in return. It's a moral exploitation that gradually eats you from the inside out. And then that moment comes when you suddenly realize that you don't want to live like that anymore. You want to get away from it all. The competition, the manipulation, the constant stress and pressure. You want to get back to a normal life, where you can just be yourself, where you can talk to people without feeling that behind every word you say there is some kind of profit. You want to leave behind this world where everyone evaluates you based on your looks, on how much money you've made, on the number of your followers, and return to what really matters. Honest, real relationships, respect, and simple happiness. I just want to get back to normal. To have a job that doesn't force me to be something I'm not. I no longer need to be nice or submissive or please every person I interact with. I'm tired of that. I want to live my life without worrying about what others think of me. I want to stop wondering every time I ask myself, what do they want from me? Or how are they using me? I want to no longer see people as competitors or objects to be conquered or evaluated. I want to learn to trust again, to believe that there can be sincerity and real affection between people. I want to believe that love and true friendship exist, that it's not just a myth created to sell another fake ideal. I've spent too long hiding from the world, holding in my emotions and feeling like I need to be constantly on guard. I allowed myself to be part of this toxic game where it all comes down to appearances and what you have to offer and how much you please. But now I want to get rid of that. I want to feel free, without all these restrictions and expectations that were once placed on me. I want to no longer be afraid to be vulnerable, no longer question whether I should trust people, and no longer look for a hidden agenda in every glance. For a long time I've been held captive by these fears and prejudices, but now I'm ready to let go. I need to learn to be myself, to be genuine and trust that people can accept me for who I am without conditions or expectations. I want to be surrounded by people who don't see you as just a commodity or a means to an end, but as a real person with feelings, desires and aspirations. I want to believe in kindness and honesty, in the possibility of building relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. And despite my bad English, I hope you understand me. I want to start all over again, to push away everything that is connected with this world and start building a life that will be truly mine.
Thank you for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you put a like and subscribe to the channel, as most likely this is not the end of the story. Before meeting,